organization here also, and then you can see in the Krishna VSTS organization I have created 2 projects. So these projects are nothing but usually the project which we create in Visual Studio. That can be seen like that. Okay, so I'll open a Visual Studio project. Okay, this is Visual Studio Online Community Edition. It's free. You can download it. Yesterday, as I said, what the basics or the prerequisites, for learning Azure DevOps quickly is by downloading Visual Studio Community Edition, which is for free, and by getting registered at Azure dev.azure.com. Create an account with an MSI, which is Microsoft account, for free. These are just 2 things which you need. Even you need not have Visual Studio, the IDE. You can even do it with a notepad. Why I'm saying is that with Microsoft provides a good amount of graphical user interface so that we can easily understand it is user friendly. That's the reason I'm saying go with Visual Studio, and to make sure that it is not being very highly charged, go with the free edition. Free edition is Visual Studio Community Edition. This is my community edition. I'll go from the start. So this is a clean slate I'm going with. So Team Explorer, if you can see, it is connecting to dev.azure.com/KrishnaVSTS. Okay, I'm connecting to this project, to this organization from my Visual Studio. Hope you guys have got it right. Just stop me if you guys have any doubt here. So in that, in Visual Studio, in Krishna VSTS project organization, how many projects do we have here? Here we have 2 projects, which is test and HTML VS Code. Okay, and let's say, and go to the Solution Explorer. I hope you are aware of Visual Studio IDE, right? Usually .NET people or people who come from the .NET stack, by default they will be using Visual Studio as their IDE. So you can just open the solution. It is opening the solution. Okay. So you can see the solution. I just created a console app solution. Okay. So this is where the developer comes in and takes up the requirements, works on it, and does all the changes whenever a bug is raised, or if he has to pick up a task, check up on a user story, work on a item, if they have been assigned to, all these things can be checked from here. Okay. So how did we get here is the point, right? Because from here, if you see, in organization settings, in this project, which project is, in this project settings test, again I'll go back. In the organization settings, I have 2 projects, test and HTML VS Code. So let's see this project test. So this project test I have opened in my local Visual Studio Online. You can see here, test. Okay, in that I have opened this project, which is the console app one. Let's go back here. Console app one. So how did I merge these two? Merge these two in the sense, how do I connect these two? from being from I just created here and I have here, or the vice versa. You can just create a project here and push it to Azure DevOps. Okay. So under repos you have files. This is where all your the code gets stored. Repos means you can call it as repository. In the short, it has been named as repos. Okay. So this is where you work. This is where you make a change. Let's say to welcome. You save it. After you save it, what you can do is you can do a commit. All these things you can do it. As I said yesterday, uh, the in Visual Studio, what we have is commits, but where in this normal TFS, you have check-ins. Now let's go to the let's how did we reach here? Let's see that. So let's start again. So I want to create a new organization. Let's say that. So I'm just giving you, how it starts. So this is what you get. Just continue. So what do you want to name your organization as? I'm just giving demo Azure DevOps. So as I said, Azure DevOps is on cloud. So it is asking where do you want to host this solution or your this organization settings. Where do you want to host everything? Usually we keep a server which is nearby to our location. Here what you can see is that this is the nearby location for me, and depending upon your location you can select. So that as it is on cloud, it makes a judgment on itself sometimes, but it's better to store your files near to your location so that it will be faster while getting the files. Okay, it's already taken. Mm, okay, fine. This looks fine. So continue. So we have created an organization. It is almost like creating a team project collection. If you guys worked on TFS, it's almost like creating a team project collection in TFS. Okay. So now, of course, organization needs to have projects. You can directly skip this step and you can later create projects, but we'll do it right away. Again, I'll give just it as just a demo. This is my project which I am creating in the organization which I've just created. Okay, you can either create a public project or a private project. Public project, what will happen is you can just share the URL with anybody who has an internet connection, and they'll be able to open this project so that you can share the code with everyone who has access to internet. Private is something which you can give no specific permissions to some people who are added in that particular organization. We'll see about how can be added, how we can give permissions in this section only. So I have selected it as a private project. So create on create project. So okay, it is done. Okay, so here right now the repos, you don't have anything in repos. You don't have anything because you haven't created any solution here. So it is empty, unlike what we have seen in the other in the starting where it has the solution. We can of course build a solution and push it here. We'll see that later. So this is what you have by default when you just create a new project. Okay, and before going to that, uh, you have to know some things regarding Azure DevOps. The basics, like what are the different